Hey all, it's Glitchin here, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck list video. Today we will be doing Rescue Ace. I've played the deck since before even Emergency was announced, so I was very excited when it started to become meta, but have been slowly losing hope since every new card that comes out is like $100, and I don't have them. So this deck list will have no copies of Wanted, but it will still be running the Diabellstarr Engine to the best of its abilities. So let's just get right into it. We will start off with one Rescue Ace Airlifter. Airlifter is currently limited to one at time of recording. Very sad. If I could be running three, I would be. But on normal summon, it allows you to add any Rescue Ace spell from your deck to your hand. A very useful ability. It also has a secret second effect that never comes up, where you contribute it from hand or field in order to special summon a Rescue Ace monster from your hand. Now, as I said, this effect never really comes up, and you'd usually just want normal summon your Airlifter. But a card that does have an effect in hand that comes up is Rescue Ace Impulse. Impulse, when your opponent activates a monster effect on field, allows you to tribute it from hand or field in order to special summon any Rescue Ace from your deck. This is a very good Handtraps since it gets you into Rescue Ace Fire Engine. Fire Engine, when your opponent special summons a monster, you're allowed to special summon a level 4 or lower Rescue Ace from the deck. So this can either special summon you Airlifter or your copies of Hydrant, which we'll play 3 of. Also, when you summon a Rescue Ace monster, you can special summon Fire Engine from your hand. 3 Hydrant. Hydrant allows you to, as an ignition effect, so not on summon, which gives you your opponent a window to respond before you can actually do anything with it, which is kind of annoying because your opponent can just blow up the Hydrant and then you can't get its effect off. But I digress. Hydrant allows you to add any Rescue Ace monster from your deck to your hand. This is our second best normal summon for the deck, since it allows us to add any Rescue Ace monster to our hand. A good target for that is our 2 copies of Preventer. Preventer allows you to special summon it from your hand by banishing 1 Rescue Ace card from your graveyard. And while on the field, it has a quick effect. While you control another Rescue Ace monster, you can flip an opponent's monster face down, but you do have to target it. Didn't mention that. Also, when Preventer is sent to grave, you can special summon one of your banished Rescue Ace monsters. This has a funny interaction with the card Emergency. Since Emergency special summons a monster to the field and then tributes it, you can special Preventer, tribute Preventer, and then get its effect off, allowing you to special summon from your banish zone. Or I guess your banishment is the new name for that zone. We play 2 Rescue Ace Turbulence. Turbulence is the boss monster of the deck, and an absolutely insane one at that. It allows you to special summon it from your hand by banishing 2 Rescue Ace cards from your graveyard. Like Hydrant, it has an ignition effect. Turbulence's ignition effect allows you to set 4 differently named Rescue Ace quick play spells or normal traps from your deck. This is absolutely insane, just drowning you in advantage. Which is why this is an absolute must kill as soon as it hits the board for your opponent. But for us, it's our main source of advantage, so we want to prioritize this guy's effect going off as much as possible. So we play 2 Diabellstarr the Black Witch. I got these before the price skyrocketed, so here's hoping I can get some of the new support like Populous and Bonfire if the prices go down, but I digress. Diabellstarr the Black Witch has a summon condition which allows you to send 1 card from your hand or field to the grave in order to special summon it, and on summon allows you to set 1 Sinful Spoils card from your deck face down on the field. Our target for that is the original Sinful Spoils, Snake Eye. Original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye forces you to send 1 card you control to the grave for cost, and then special summons a level 1 fire monster from the deck. This is very good for us, because guess who's a level 1 fire monster? Ding ding ding, Rescue Ace Hydrant. This gets us a free special of Hydrant from deck, and since Diabellstarr summons itself and sets this card from deck for just the cost of 1 card in your hand, this engine is very good, which is why usually we would be playing 3 Wanteds, but I don't have any. But I digress. Also, this has a graveyard effect in order to banish it and put a Diabellstarr back into the deck in order to add a level 1 fire monster to your hand. Since we don't have Wanted, this effect is pretty good, and Wanted's effect would allow us to put this back and then draw a card, but as I've said many times, I don't have it, so we can't do that. Next we have our Handtraps. 3 Ash, 3 Droll, 3 Imper, or not, 3 Valor, 3 Imper. getting ahead of myself. Ash Blossom allows you to stop your opponent from adding a card from deck to hand, or sending from deck to grave, or specialing from deck. Very good hand trap. Droll Knockboard, on resolution of your opponent adding a card to hand except in the draw step, allows you to stop both players from adding any cards from main deck to hand for the rest of the turn. Veiler, during your opponent's main phase, allows you to send it to the grave in order to target one monster on your field and negate its effects until end of turn. Imperm is a trap that allows you to activate it from your hand if you control no cards. And it allows you to target one monster on your opponent's field and negate its effects until the end of the turn. All of these hand traps are really just to counter whatever is in the meta right now. And we run some different hand traps in our side deck, which I will be showing off in order to counter other decks. But that's kind of the point of hand traps. Next, we play one Reinforcement of the Army. Reinforcement of the Army has the very simple effect of allowing you to add a level 4 or lower warrior from deck to hand. Our search targets for this are our 1 copy of Impulse and our 1 copy of Airlifter. Usually we want to be adding Airlifter, since it's a very good normal summon for the deck, but should you already have Airlifter, you can add Impulse for an interruption on your opponent's turn. We also play one for one, a lot of 1. It allows you to send 1 monster from hand to grave for cost, and then special summon a level 1 monster from the deck. As I've already gone over, Hydrant is a level 1 monster. We also play 3 Pot of Prosperity. I was playing 2, but with Airlifter limited, we really need consistency as much as we can, since we're not playing Wanted. Prosperity allows you to banish 3 or 6 cards from your X deck, and then excavate a number of cards from your deck equal to the number of cards banished. This is very good, since it allows you to dig further into your deck and add any card you want from the revealed cards to your hand. But your opponent takes half damage for the rest of the turn. But we're going first deck, so we don't really care. Also, we play 2 Small World. Small World is for the extra consistency. A lot of consistency we need. It's a bit hard to wrap your head around Small World bridges while you're in the middle of a duel, but it just takes some practice. You also play 1 Rescue HQ. Rescue Ace HQ is a field spell, and it allows you to normal summon an additional Rescue Ace monster once per turn. And it allows you to target 4 of your Rescue Ace cards in your graveyard or banishment, and then shuffle them back into the deck and draw a card. This is very good to recycle all of our targets for Turbulence, and it allows us to draw a card, netting us even more advantage. For our targets to set off of Turbulence, we have 3 copies of Emergency. Emergency is another absolute insane card for the deck, allowing you to special summon a Rescue Ace from your deck in defense position. Then you must tribute a Rescue Ace monster from hand or field. This is very good for us, since it allows us to summon any card out of the deck. Usually we will be either summoning our copy of Hydrant or Turbulence off this effect, since Hydrant can add us Turbulence, or if you're fearing a Droll, or you've already been Drolled, you can just summon your Turbulence. So play 1 Rescue. Rescue allows you to target a Rescue Ace monster in your grave and special summon it. Or if you control Hydrant, it allows you to target a card in your opponent's graveyard instead. A searchable monster reborn at quick effect speed, very good. Let's play 1 Alert. Alert allows you to add a Rescue Ace monster from your graveyard back to your hand. Or if you control Hydrant, allows you to add it from deck to hand instead. Searchable card that itself is searchable. Searching a searchable card, very good. Play 1 Contain. Contain allows you to target one monster on your opponent's field, and then negate its effects, and it cannot attack for the rest of the turn. And if you control Hydrant, it cannot be used as Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link material for the rest of the turn. A very good effect, since it is basically a searchable imperm with bonus effects of not being able to attack and not being able to use as material. Have 1 Extinguish. Extinguish allows you to target one monster in your opponent's field and then destroy it. Then if you have Hydrant on your field at resolution, your opponent cannot use monsters with the effects of monsters with the same original name as that card, or the destroyed monster's effects. Another searchable card. All of these are searchable off of Turbulence. I don't know why I keep repeating that, but allows us to destroy an opponent's monster, and if they have any floating effects, we just say no if we have Hydrant on the field. Another really good card. We play 1 Link Karibo, 1 Salamangreat Elmirage, and 1 Relinquished Anima. All of these essentially accomplish the same task of putting our Hydrant into the grave. Link Karibo allows us to change one of our opponent's monsters' attack to 0 when an attack is declared by tributing it. All Mirage allows you to make your monster indestructible for the turn by turbining it. And Anima allows you to steal one of your opponent's monsters that this card points to and equip it to this card, and it gains attack equal to the equipped monster's attack. Good stuff. We play 1 IP Masquerena. Masquerena is a Link 2, and it allows you to, during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, Link Summon using cards you control. This is a very good effect, since we have a couple targets that on summon allow you to interrupt your opponent. One of those cards being SP Little Knight. Absolutely insane card right now. If made using an extra deck monster, such as IP Masquerena, it allows you to banish 1 card from your opponent's field or grave. And when your opponent activates a card effect, you can banish 2 monsters on the field, including 1 monster you control. So you could banish 1 monster you control, 1 monster your opponent controls, or just 2 monsters you control. Also play 1 Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn on summon allows you to discard 1 card and then target 1 card on your opponent's field and shuffle it back into the deck. Another very good target to be going off of IP Masquerena. We have 1 Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. Sunlight Wolf is a Link 2 requiring 2 fire monsters. Stumbling over my words here. And when a monster is summoned to a zone it points to, you can add 1 fire monster from your grave back to your hand. This can add back Ash Blossom, which is really funny. Not that that comes up a lot of the time, since most of the time you'd rather just be comboing off and adding back a Rescue Ace from deck to hand. Not from graveyard to hand, sorry. Play 1 Hita the Fire Charmer Ablaze. Since both Rescue Ace and Fire Kings are running around the meta right now, you usually have a target to yoink out of your opponent's graveyard. And if not, there might be an Ash Blossom in there. So since we're a fire deck, we can make this pretty consistently. Let's play 1 Dark the Dark Charmer. This is makeable off of any of our dark extra deck monsters and also Diabellstarr. It does the same thing as Hita, allowing you to steal a dark monster from your opponent's grave instead of a fire. Very good stuff. We play 1 Decode Talker Heat Soul. Heat Soul is a quick effect, allows you to pay 1,000 life points and draw a card. This can dig us deeper into our deck and draw some hand traps. 1 draw on our turn and 1 draw on our opponent's turn. And should it live to the next turn, another draw, and another, and so on and so forth. Play 1 Selene, Queen of the Master Magicians. It requires a spellcaster to be used to make it, so we can use either of our Charmers or also a Diabellstarr. And on summon allows you to put counters on it equal to the number of spells in both graveyards. And you're going to remove 3 spell counters from this as a quick effect in order to special summon a spellcaster from grave. This can either special our Diabellstarr or an Effect Veiler, should the situation permit it, but usually we want to be resummoning our Diabellstarr. But that gets us 4 materials worth of Link on the field, so we can make our Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker on summon allows you to target a Link monster used as material for it, and it gains 1,000 attack points for each Link it had. So if we make it off of Selene, that's 3,000 attack. And your opponent cannot respond to any of its effects. Access Code Talker also allows you to banish 1 Link monster from graveyard and destroy 1 card on your opponent's field. But you cannot banish a monster with the same attribute that you've banished for the rest of the turn. So if we banished a light, we cannot banish any other lights. If we banish a light and fire, we can't banish those for the rest of the turn. But since we have light, fire, dark, I think that's all our different attributes. That's a possibility of 3 pops. We also play a couple Super Poly targets because it's in the side deck. We also play 1 Mud Dragon of the Swamp. Mud Dragon of the Swamp requires 2 monsters with the same attribute. So you can just yoink some of your opponent's monsters with Super Poly. And Garura does the same, but it requires 2 monsters with the same type and attribute. Both very good targets to summon off of Super Poly. And we play 1 Typhon, just in case. Typhon allows you to special exceed summon it on top of a monster you control with the highest attack if your opponent has special summoned 2 cards from the extra deck during this turn or the last turn. And while on the field, neither player can activate the effects of monsters with 3,000 attack or more. This is very good since a lot of opponent's boss monsters have 3,000 attack. And also you can detach 1 Xyz material from it in order to bounce 1 card from 1 monster on the field back to the hand. The side deck, we are running our 3 previously mentioned Super Polys to summon our fusion targets. 3 Nibiru's in case our opponent gets greedy and summons 5 times. 3 Cosmic Cyclone to play against a Centurion. since they can Calamity Lock us still, because that card is still not banned, we just really don't want to be doing that. So it's also very good against Fire Kings, as you can banish their field spell or their continuous spell, and its effects will not resolve. We also play 3 Bell, again for the Fire King matchup, since we can negate one of their graveyard effects during our standby phase. I've also drawn this in the draw step quite a few times just to negate their stuff, and also since Transaction Rollback is coming into the format, another good graveyard card that we want to negate. I also play a Feather Duster and 2 Lightning Storms in order to deal with back row decks, since these allow us to just blow up our opponent's back row. Alright, let's do some test hands, as I always do. Alright, draw. Preventer, Ash, Fire Engine, Veiler, Small World. I was worried up until we got Small World, but it should be fine. Small World, reveal Veiler. Veiler is a 0 attack monster, so we will reveal an Ash from deck, which is also a 0 attack monster, and it shares nothing else with it. And since Ash Blossom is a fire monster, you can add a fire monster. So we will be searching our copy of, come on, where is it? Airlifter, where are you? Airlifter, since it shares none of the other things with it. Those are banished face down. We will normal Airlifter, normal Rescue Ace combo from here on out. Add emergency summon Hydrant, tribute Airlifter. Since we have a Fire Engine in hand, we can special our Fire Engine. Hydrant effect, add us our copy of Turbulence. Turbulence effect, banish these 2 from grave in order to special summon it. Turbulence effect to set, we will set Rescue. Yeah, Rescue is a good target. Alert. Yeah, we can add Alert. Usually we'd want to search out our Preventer, but since we already have it in hand, I'm debating what to set here. So we will set all of that plus a Contain, I think. Actually, I think I'll set an Emergency here instead of Alert, since we already have Preventer in hand. So set all of these on our field. Let's pretend that these are set face down, but for the purposes of readability on our field, I'll just leave them face up. I'm going to link off these 2 for a copy of Sunlight Wolf. And you may be asking why, but we'll Preventer, banish our Hydrant. Sun Preventer here. That triggers us back our copy of Fire Engine. I will link these 2 off for a copy of Little Knight for an additional interrupt on our opponent's turn. Preventer activates, summon back our copy of Hydrant. Since we have 2 zones, we will summon a copy of Link Karibo. I will then link these 2 off for a copy of Decode Talker Heat Soul, because I just want to draw some hand traps, like real bad. Pay 1,000, draw a card. Ooh, a Diabellstarr. This can get us some really good follow-up for our next turn, but we don't necessarily need it right now. So with this, we will pass. During the draw phase, we will pay another 1,000 to draw another card, an additional copy of Ash Blossom. Kind of dead in our hand since we already have one. But we will also activate Rescue during the draw phase in order to special summon our Hydrant. Since we have a Hydrant on field, that is a Rescue sponsor, and our traps are online. This is actually a pretty good end board, but usually we get interrupted, so I wouldn't be counting your chickens before they hatch. Alright, another test hand. There we go. Diabellstarr, Veiler, Hydrant, Veiler, Prosby. This is an interesting hand. We actually have a lot of follow-up, so we might as well use it. We will begin by Prosperitying. Banish 6. Don't think we'll need All Mirage or Anima. Anima's more useful on turn 2, and Almirage is kind of outclassed by Link Kribo. Probably not putting a Dark Engrave on our turn. Our 2 Super Poly targets, assuming we didn't side them in, and Typhon for the same reason as Anima, that our opponent probably isn't summoning 2 extra deck monsters onto the field during our turn. Reveal 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will add our copy of Airlifter because we got it off Prosby, and we will put these cards back on the bottom of the deck in any order, really. Doesn't really matter. Normal Airlifter. I'm going to assume Airlifter got ashed here because I can show some follow-up. Special Diabellstarr with her own effect. Not effect, summoning condition. By sending Valor. Diabellstarr effect to set. Set us our copy of... Sinful Spool Snake Eye. Activate it. I'll pitch the Diabellstarr because it doesn't really matter which one we pitch. Special our copy of Hydrant. Hydrant effect adds Turbulence. Here we kind of have to just, so we have no Rescue Aces Engraved, we'll have to make a Link 2. We'll make IP for follow-up on our opponent's turn. Turbulence effect, special summon itself. Set 4. Set Extinguish. We have no targets engraved, so we shouldn't rescue. Or no, we should. If we're going to set Emergency, we can also set Rescue. So this end board isn't great, but on our opponent's turn, we can negate 1 monster, and we can link into either an SP or a Unicorn. And we have 4 back row set, so it can't be that bad. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. So, bye-bye.